If there were ever a place called the scam capital of Southeast Asia, it would undoubtedly be Cambodia, especially the city of Sihanoukville and its border regions. After 2018, when China banned online gambling, thousands of shady businesses fled across the border into Cambodia. To the north, beyond Laos, lies Myanmar, a country no less chaotic. Look at the map, and you'll notice the Thailand-Myanmar border stretches endlessly along winding rivers. On one side is Thailand, on the other is Myanmar. And right there in Myanmar lies a notorious area called Myawaddy. Amid rugged mountains, massive scam compounds have risen, the most infamous being KK Park. From above, KK Park looks like a modern American-style city. Villas, lawns, restaurants, even banks and hospitals. But inside are thousands of trapped workers and unwilling scam operators. Now, the storm has finally hit. Following exposés from Western and Asian outlets such as The Guardian, Johar, The Nation, and investigations by the FBI and the UK, the crime bosses could no longer hide. They fled. In October 2025, the US and UK simultaneously imposed sanctions targeting Cambodia's major scam lords, most notably Shen Ji, head of the Prince Group, accused of laundering billions of US dollars through Bitcoin. Assets were frozen, casinos raided, and hundreds of suspects arrested. The Cambodian government could no longer stay silent. The international pressure was overwhelming. Meanwhile, in Myanmar, the military began shelling KK Park and other scam compounds, partly to regain control, partly under China's pressure. These criminal networks had made the China-Myanmar border dangerously unstable. Thousands fled, scammers and victims alike. Some swam across rivers in foam boxes, trying to reach Thailand. The chaos was so great that border crossings jammed up, and Thai police had to deploy rescue boats to pull people from the water. Drone footage showed KK Park in ruins. Gates collapsed, buildings burnt, walls and empty dorms left behind. A multi-billion-dollar online scam empire had collapsed, or at least cracked, within weeks. But cybercrime is unlike ordinary crime. It doesn't need land, just internet, power, water, and protection. So, as Cambodia and Myanmar became unsafe, these groups scattered like bees from a broken hive. Where did they run to? Some crossed into Thailand, others slipped into Laos. Smaller cells even headed for the Philippines, once the world's scam hub more than a decade ago. In Thailand, the most favored provinces are Tak, Mae Sot, and Chiang Rai, close to Myanmar with many river crossings and easy signal access across the border. Outwardly, they rent houses or register tech startups or mini casinos. Inside are scam centers, with dozens of people working 24/7, posing as bankers, police officers, investors, or even fake lovers, often targeting people like us. And it's not just Thailand. Few notice that Laos, wedged between Thailand, Cambodia, China, and Vietnam, is quietly turning into a new transit hub. The reasons are simple: long borders, dense jungles, and limited government manpower. Some customer service centers have appeared under the label of tech investment, but in truth, they act as relay stations, handling money transfers, data exchange, and providing SIM cards and gear for scam rings in Thailand and Myanmar. I'll cover the Laos story in detail another time. But even on the map, you can see that from Cambodia's Sihanoukville across to Laos and into Thailand, it's only about 400 kilometers, a truck ride across two borders. That's the underground route used by organized crime to relocate their operations. And they may well circle back to the Philippines. Before Cambodia's rise, the Philippines was Southeast Asia's original scam empire. From the early 2000s to around 2016, hundreds of fake call centers sprang up in Manila and Cebu, defrauding millions, even billions of US dollars from Westerners, mainly Americans, Canadians, and Britons. In 2016, hackers in the Bangladesh bank heist funneled $81 million through Philippine banks, one of the world's most notorious money laundering cases. Now, as Cambodia faces a crackdown, some groups are returning to the Philippines, setting up call centers disguised as customer support firms, again targeting foreigners and Asians alike. Another unexpected destination, Sri Lanka. A nation still reeling from its economic crisis 3 years ago, weakened and corruptible. Perfect prey. Asian organizations have rented land in Colombo, registering as IT, startup, or blockchain companies, but in reality, running a variety of scams. Across the ocean in Africa, as I mentioned in another story, Nigeria is the ancestor of modern scams. Since the 1990s, Nigeria became infamous for Nigerian prince emails, fake princes, princesses, generals, and officials asking for help transferring money in exchange for commissions. Now, Nigerian scammers are collaborating with Asian rings. Nigerians create fake identities, Chinese and Thais provide tech, Filipinos handle operations. This has become a global crime network, borderless and interconnected. So after fleeing Cambodia and Myanmar, can those two nations ever escape their dark shadows? In the short term, Cambodia must clean up its image. Following the Chen Ji scandal and Western sanctions, Phnom Penh is ramping up crackdowns, tightening visas, and even cooperating with China to rescue thousands of trafficked workers, partly out of fear of further sanctions, partly to avoid being blacklisted by global financial watchdogs, which would drive away all foreign investment. Because who would invest in a country run by scammers? But in the long term, it's hard to say. An average scam setter can earn hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, while bribing officials costs only a few thousand. With money that powerful, resurgence is always possible, especially in remote border zones like Poipet, Bavet, and Kokong, where corruption runs deep and profits are irresistible. Myanmar's situation is even messier. Fighting between the military and militias has left vast regions ungoverned. In the Golden Triangle, where Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar meet, local armed groups control entire towns, offering protection to scam syndicates in exchange for cash or weapons. So even if the military destroys one compound, scams reappear months later, because poverty and corruption ensure someone is always willing to protect them. Why do these networks keep moving but never leave Southeast Asia? Look at the map again and you'll see why. This region is both convenient and dangerous for cybercrime. To the north is China. Huge population, easy recruitment, long history of human trafficking. To the west, the jungles of Myanmar and Laos. Hard to control, full of militias. To the south, seas dotted with thousands of tiny islands, perfect hideouts like those in Cambodia and the Philippines. Internet coverage is everywhere, but borders are porous. One river crossing can change your country, yet your SIM card still works from the other side. That's why cyber gangs pick Southeast Asia over Europe. It's cheaper, easier, and far less risky. And let's be clear, after these crackdowns, the online scam industry hasn't disappeared. It won't repent. It's only splintered, smaller cells spreading across the region like a virus, mutating into new strains. From once grand empires like KK Park with thousands of workers, they're now forming smaller groups of a few dozen, scattered across Bangkok, Vientiane, Cebu, Colombo, or Lagos. They use VPNs, encrypted apps, and cryptocurrencies to vanish without a trace. Today, they even employ AI and deepfakes, cloning voices of loved ones, impersonating wealthy individuals, or deploying flirty chatbots that victims can hardly tell are fake.